Welcome to This Week in Baseball Player Profiles as we profile head baseball coach at Pitt State, Bob Fornelli. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Tonto. Glad to be with you.
Before we get started here, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Well, I'm old. I played baseball at Butler County, then I went on to Emporia State, and I went back and coached at Butler County for 5 years underneath my mentor, B.D. Parker, which was one of the best coaches I've ever been around in my life. Then I was fortunate enough, he helped me and coached a bunch of summer baseball in the Jayhawk League, but then I got the head coaching job at Fornelli State and enjoyed my time there for 7 years, and then went on to Emporia State for 15, and now I'm at Pittsburgh State in my 3rd year.
Okay. So when you were growing up, what position did you play?
I was a catcher, too fat to do anything else. So I got to play a little bit of right field, but caught all the time, and that's what I did every day.
So was that a position that you started off at a young age or as you got older?
Yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much what I did as I was young. You know, I got to play a little first base and a little right field. I was a little chubby dude, so that's where they stuck me, and it stuck, and I enjoyed catching. I mean, I think it made me who I am today to have the opportunity to be back there and, had some great coaches along the lines that helped me become a better player, and you learn a lot from seeing everybody on the field.
Right. So what high school did you attend?
Shawnee Mission Northwest.
Mission Northwest. And you caught there, I would assume, as well.
Yep. I caught there for Coach Severino and then Coach Kuzdem. So I had 2 very good coaches in high school. Every time I see Coach Kuzdem, he always made me catch bullpen, so I didn't get an opportunity to hit much. So I always give him a problem that's why I didn't hit early in my career. But I caught up a little bit, but definitely made me a better catcher from what he did, and so I was thankful for that.
Okay. And like you said, you played at Butler, and then you went on to Emporia State. What was your experience like at both levels?
Well, it's kind of funny. I could have stayed home at Johnson County, but one of my best friends, I loved football, but lost a kidney as a junior, so I wasn't able to play football anymore, and so my best buddy, Scott Schreiner, was going to Butler County to play fullback. And I said, well, let's go. I'll go with you. So I went and played for Rick Dreiling for those 2 years and had a great time. Got an opportunity to get a chance to go play at Emporia State. Learned a lot. It was good to be away from home a little bit. And then I went to William Jewell for 2 weeks, and it just wasn't for me. So I left, got a job, and that wasn't for me either at that time. So I went back, and Coach Bingham had recruited me before, but I got a lot more scholarship opportunity at William Jewell. So I took that, and then I went back crawling to Coach Bingham and said, well, I'll walk on, do whatever. So I went there and was there a semester, and he left. So I learned a ton in that semester with Dave Bingham, and then Brian Embury took over, and I played my last 2 years there. But Emporia State's a great place. Love that place. Was there. Spent 20-some years of my life there. So, had a lot of fond memories of Emporia State.
So after you were done playing, you got into coaching. What got you into coaching? What made you feel like you needed to go coach?
Well, I think that's what I wanted to do all my life. I had a football coach named Dale Phipps in high school that, man, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. He was our football coach. He helped basketball, but he got to be a kid all day. He played basketball with us. He went in the weight room and lifted with us and did everything that looked like it was going to be fun. And to be honest with you, I was going to be a high school coach, and that's what I thought I was going to do. And dang, PPST, I think is what it's called, the test to become a teacher. I was struggling with a little bit of English on it. So I don't want to say I gave up on it, but I just said, heck with it. I'll go try to be a college guy. So I got the degree I could get to get out of there. And I was very fortunate enough that B.D. Parker called on me, and I coached a little bit of high school. I coached middle school basketball for 2 years after I got done playing, and that was a blast. But Coach Parker called, and I became the pitching coach at Butler County for 5 years, and it was an unbelievable time, and I learned so much about the game of baseball. You learn from everywhere you go, not just the teams you play for and all that stuff. You learn, shoot, I'm 54. I'm going to learn tomorrow when we get an opportunity to scrimmage. We're always trying to get better, but BD was enabled me to understand really what it took to be a college baseball coach. And, again, I get to do that right now, and I'm 54, and I love being around the kids. I feel like I'm 20 all the time. So that part of it's really good.
Well, I'm going to share some numbers with everybody that's going to be watching the show. At Butler, everywhere you've gone, you've been a winner. At Butler, you had 195 wins. You took third in the World Series in '94. At Fornelli State, you're the winningest coach in their history with 306 wins. D2 national championship game. You made it to 306 wins, like I said, winningest coach in their history. At Emporia State, 599 wins. Couldn't get that 600 win there. But you 2 times went to the World Series, runner-up in 2009. But overall, you have over 900 plus wins. Your top 15, I believe you're ranked 11th overall in Division II history, maybe 10th now after last season. Pretty impressive what you have done. Can you explain to us briefly at each school what you had to do when you encountered those schools and what you walked into and how you made those schools become winning programs?
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate enough for all those schools I've been to is to have good programs. But the number one thing is to get good kids, to get them to play the right way. And all 3, hopefully this place, we're not there yet, but we're working on it. But, at Fort Hays, I think they were like 5 games over when we got there. But Coach Hammocky had done a great job, and I was very fortunate enough to get that job. And went in there, and we got a guy named Billy Russell at semester that really helped us a bunch. But we became a family. And I think that's whatever program you're going to go to, you got to become a family. And they didn't like me much. I was ornery, let's put it that way. When I got into it at 25, 26, I was a head coach. I was 4 years older and 3 years older than most of the guys. But, so I pushed them, and I probably did some good things to them, but I probably did some bad things as well. I lost some guys along the way because we pushed them. But I think if you go back and talk to those guys, it made them a better man, the way we went about our business. But, we did the Buffalo runs, the cones, all that stuff. It was kind of a fun time. But, those 7 years there were really, really good. And we were fortunate enough. That first year we won 48 games and made it to the regional out in Chico, California. And I think that kind of got us started. But we had some really good players, and we still talk today. And that's what it's all about. I think every set where I go, I'm not going to try to treat my players like I'm their dad. I'm going to be their big brother. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. If I need to put my foot in their butt, I'm going to. But at the same time, I love every kid that's ever played for me, and that doesn't mean we all got along 24/7, but right. They're my guys, and so we're going to do everything we can to get them to be successful. We moved on to Emporia State, and I played again for Bingham for that one semester, but they had an unbelievable tradition, and when I got there, it wasn't where it probably needed to be. I think they had won 18 games a year before I got there, and we took got the job in June. We took a bunch of ragtag guys. One of the best players I've ever had is named John Martin. He's the head coach at UCO. Mm-hmm. He couldn't throw it back to the pitcher when I took him. And then he became he was like a 25. He had the yips. So he 25th round draft pick I can't remember who he got drafted by, but he was our leader. By the end of it, those 3 years, he made us who we were. But at Emporia State, the tradition's second to none. Those people come back. The 1978 team do a great job of continuing to support Emporia State. And, it's a cool atmosphere. The tough thing there is, again, we had to fundraise everything. So those 15 years were unbelievable, but that's why I'm bald. It wore me out a little bit. I was always chasing a dollar instead of chasing a team and to try to do those things. But they'll be fine, and they're going to do a good job. Here at Pitt State, in my 3rd year, and we say it's my 3rd year. The first year was, okay, we won 31 games, and we got better. And then last year we felt like we were starting to figure things out. But cut short, and, hopefully this year we're better. So it's something that nobody's ever went through, but we're all trying to figure it out. But, the nice thing here is, this is a mid-major Division I program. I haven't seen a budget. I'm not going out and begging everybody for $100 here, $1,000 a year. So I'm able to be hopefully a good baseball coach. We're fired up about our assistants. We have two great guys here, Taylor Steen and Derek Francis. We also have Denny Valela. So we're excited about the direction this program's heading. We still got a ways to go. You know, as a coach, you think you can walk in there and change everything overnight. And I was probably that guy, even though I was 50 years old at the time. And you think, oh, I'll go do that. We'll get after it. We'll do. Well, there's a lot of bumps in the road. You got to get the right people. You got to become a family. You got to love one another. And I think it's taken us a little bit with some hiccups and COVID and all that stuff. We think we're at the right place that we can kind of get this ball rolling.
Okay. Speaking of, you've been to the World Series a few times. I know you still got that taste in your mouth, that hunger, you want to get back there. What's that like, that experience getting to the College World Series?
Well, it's, I mean, second to none. You know, at Hayes, we did it and played for the national championship. We lost 7-2. And, you know, I still think about it. We had 5 errors. We didn't have errors all year. And, you know, with a team that we were excited about, but nobody thought we'd ever get there, but we did. And baseball is such a momentum game, and trust and go out and compete in every day. But the opportunity at that time to go to Montgomery, Alabama was just unbelievable, you know, and we just weren't afraid to fail. And that team just battled the rear ends off and just weren't very good that one day. And then we went in 2006 at Emporia, and we felt like we had a really good team, could really pitch. And we forgot to load the bats. We weren't very good offensively, so we went home 0-2. And then in 2009, we could really pitch, and that year it was at Cary, North Carolina, which is it is now, and what a beautiful facility and just a great atmosphere and all that stuff. But you know, every team has a memory. You know, that year it was Eric Church, the Carolina song, and you know, the guys would get on the bus before we left there all the time. We watched the end of Miracle. Everybody's seen the movie Miracle, and we watched the end of that. And when the end. I think it was about 12-minute video. We'd get on the bus, watch it, and then as soon as it was over, somebody would pop on the Eric Church song. We'd get off the bus and really felt good about it. And that's, you know, that was by far the closest we came to winning national. We got beat 2-1, and it wasn't fun. But no matter what, you're striving to get back there every year, and it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the last team in the country. You start playing good, and who knows what happens. So that's the nice thing about it. You know, it's a little different than JUCO ball or high school ball because you know who's going to make the conference tournament. There's very few people left out. Here, you better, with only 40 games this year, we better win 28 to 32 games to make sure we make a regional. So there's a lot more pressure. You know, when we were in JUCO, you know, I think the top 8 teams on both sides. So that meant only 1 or 2 teams are out. And, you know, it didn't matter what your record. If you went and played good and won that 2 out of 3 and went to the tournament and won that 18 tournament, you were continuing to play. And it's not that way here. So February 12th is important to us, you know, that we go out and play well.
Right. Well, I do wish you guys the best of luck this season. When you brought up recruiting, what do you look for in a kid when you go and recruit? Whether it be first start off with a high school kid, because obviously a high school kid and a college kid are different. That 1 to 2 years is huge in JUCO. What do you look for in these players?
Well, the right kind of person. You know, we want athletic ability. We want them to throw mid-80s, hopefully, or we want them to run or whatever, all that stuff. But the first thing I'm going to ask the coach is, well, what's he like? Is he a good teammate? Does he play the right way? Is he good academically? Because I'm getting too old to be begging somebody to go to class. We want our guys to do the right thing in the classroom, and we've done a really good job about that. But, you know, it all comes down to a little bit of family, and that guy can fit in good. And, you know, the tough thing about a high school guy coming into a program like ours is if they just be quiet, compete, and learn from everybody, they're going to get better. If they're the guy that thinks they're getting screwed, that the first scrimmage, they're not in it, probably going to be in trouble in the long run. They got to learn from the guys. I think at this level, it's really good for high school kids to understand that. And when they come in, we have a lot of Division I transfers. We have a lot of junior college kids. Not only do we have 4 coaches on staff, you got how many coaches right in front of you to listen to those guys, to learn from those guys. And a lot of kids are stubborn. I could have been one of those guys at 18, but the biggest thing that people need to understand is listen and learn, you know, and understand we can get better each and every day by watching, listening, and understanding how they're going about their business every day. And we have some of those high schools kids that come in here and do a really good job of that. And we have one right now that I wasn't sure that could play here. And he's kind of figured it out. And someday he will play here, Evan Long. He's a Missouri kid. But we also had a Kansas City kid that didn't work very hard, you know, and thought he was just, he was a high school all-state guy or whatever, and thought he could just do it. He's not with us anymore, you know, and not only do coaches we see it, but the older guys, they understand it and they see it. And so for a high school guy, my best thing for you is go in there, put your head down and get after it. Try to make yourself better. Try to make yourself listen to what's going on with the outfield group or the infield group. When you're not playing in a scrimmage game, pay attention and try to get better. When you get your opportunity, you can just go compete. You know, you don't have to be perfect because nobody's going to be perfect in the game. So you're just going to go out and grind it out and find a way to be as good as you can. The junior college guy is going to be a little different. We're going to have a lot more information on that kid. He's played 120 games when he gets here. We've had a ton of coaches see him, kind of talk to him. So, you know, the Division I guy is probably a kid we recruited and then, you know, went to Division I and something didn't work out. So we know what we're getting there. So, you know, it's a little easier to get junior college guys here than it is high school guys. With 9 scholarships, you need your money on the field. And sometimes it's hard for a high school guy to walk in here and be that guy that's on the field. But yet you got 19 junior colleges telling him that he's going to come here and go to LSU, and we're going to give him $1,000, whereas we can go get that JUCO kid for $3,000 to $6,000 or maybe $1,000, who knows. But we know what we're going to get out of him faster. So,
right.
You know, we'd like to get a lot of high school guys, but it's also hard for us and for them to understand this is good baseball. I don't care. You could put most Division II teams in a mid-major conference, and they'd fare pretty good. So I think the upper echelons of Division II guys you can put in any mid-majors, and I think they'd finish in the top 4 of those mid-majors.
I agree with you. You guys play in the MIAA, and to me, it's one of the top 4 leagues in the country when it comes to Division II baseball. You guys, there's a lot of really good teams in that division. Younger kids, and I'm talking about, you know, 9 to 12 years old. What advice could you give to those kids and parents?
Well, I think the biggest thing for you guys is don't wear them out parents-wise. You know, let them enjoy it. As soon as you make it a job for them, it's tough for those kids to grind it out at 9 to 12. You know, I want them to think about what they're eating afterwards, what pizza they're getting, what ice cream they're getting. So let them enjoy it to the point that they want to go, but it's not grind it out, have to go. So the younger guys, I think that's something that, you know, in a way we can burn those kids out and they don't want to be a part of it in the long run. So we want to see them smile. We don't want to overcoach them a whole lot. So we want them to have fun and compete. So, and the winning and losing is important at that age, but it's not end all. So let's make sure we're not mad when we lose and understand we're going to try to fix our mistakes, but we're not going to overdo it, if that makes sense. So let them smile, let them have fun, let them be a 9 to 12-year-old little kid. As we get to 15 to 18, a whole different story. We're going to try to win every day. And that's one thing that bothers me about summer baseball is we do all these prospect things and nobody cares if they win or lose. Well, you're getting to be 16 to 18. We're trying to win every day. And I think that's something that maybe our society's lost a little bit about how to compete and how to go about our business. And, you know, in college, we're going to try to win every game we play. And I don't care what game we're playing. We talk about it in practice every day. We're going to compete. And whatever drill we are, we're going to compete and try to win that drill and so on and so forth. And, you know, too many kids are, how did I do? Well, it's not I do, it's we do. You know, it's how did our team do? What did I do today to make our team better? What did I do today to make, you know, get the runner from first to second, and then the next guy drives him in? Well, I was a big part of that because I got him to second base, and that's what team's about. So those are things that I think we're kind of losing in summer baseball that I would love to see, and I know you're a huge part of it, and we've talked about this before too. We want them to compete, to learn, to find a way to win. That doesn't mean we go out and hurt somebody to win, but we want everybody to understand we're trying to win this baseball game, and we're not trying to, hit a home run here so the next guy gets me. I'm going out looking for guys that are winners, the guys that are going to play the right way and compete the right way, and not I guys. I guys don't win any championships. People and the right guys win any championships.
Well, you brought up high school kids, and that was going to be my next question. What could high school kids, give them some advice, what they could be doing once they get into high school, 15, 16, 17, to develop, to get ready to go to college?
Yeah, I think going to as many lessons as you possibly can, but get in that weight room. Don't tell me you're going to do it and you don't do it. And I think a lot of kids nowadays say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go do it. Well, they do it once a week. That's not doing you a whole lot of good. So let's get in the weight room. Let's have a plan. Let's go. Your place is open all the time. Let's get in there. If we got an hour, let's go hit for an hour. Nobody's telling you to do it for 3 to 6 hours. We're asking 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes to get in there, get your workout in, and get better each and every day. And I love the opportunity for every kid to play every sport. If a guy's a football, basketball, and a baseball guy, I got no problem with that. That's awesome. But there's a time for baseball that you can take a half hour, 45 minutes, 5 times a week and go hit. Your basketball coach isn't going to, number one, he's not going to know, but he's not going to be mad about that as long as you're locked into basketball. But, I love the dual athlete sports, and I want them to compete because they're learning about how to win.
Okay. That's some really good advice. So COVID, with the class of 21 and the class of 22 now, with all the JUCOs getting another year, what do you think those kids should be doing right now to get ready? The 21s get ready to come that's committed, and the 22s that need to find a home eventually. And it's going to be a little harder, I think, because of that extra year with the JUCOs.
Yeah, it is. It's, again, been in college baseball for 30 years now, and I've never seen anything like it. It's been really tough for me not to compete for 11 months since March, 10th or whatever that was. It's something that's tough for you guys as well. But I think the thing that you guys need to understand is to get as much video as you can. Send it out to coaches. Don't be afraid to send it out to coaches. I would say, number one, when you send it out to coaches, don't mass send it out. Send it out to Coach Fornelli, Coach Wheeler, Coach Martin, whatever it might be, with a little video. That gives you an opportunity. Tonto, you do a great job of sending it out for your guys. So, as far as somebody's locked in your corner, then you're going to have a chance. But if you're that guy that isn't in an organization, you better get a little video. You better send it out to the people that you might. And it might not be the first guy that takes you. You might have to do it 100 times to get to where you need to go. But, the great thing about college baseball, we have I think it's 18 now because Brown Mackey dropped out, but 18 junior colleges in the state of Kansas that play baseball, 5 Division IIs, 3 Division Is, and I'm not sure the number of NAIs, but a bunch. Okay, so there's a place for everybody just in Kansas, but they're all places that around now. How tuition's going, we're all touching states, so you're getting in-state, maybe in Oklahoma, maybe in Nebraska, so on and so forth. So you just got to grind it out and find a place. I think the tough thing for us as coaches, number one, are you going to put a number on it? I mean, I feel like we have 42 lockers, so I don't want to have more than 42 players. Some people are bringing in 60 or 70. And that's just not me, because I don't want to sit there and a parent lie to them and say, hey, you're going to guarantee play, and I've never said that, but you're going to do this or do that. We don't know. If I have 60 players, it gives me a lot of choices. It also doesn't allow me to work with enough players to make them successful. So we're going to keep our numbers down where others are going to be more. But, and with the more people, the more things, you're going to have to grind it out. You're going to have to find a way to make yourself stand out amongst the crowd. And it might not be physical ability. It might be the way you grind it out, how hard you work every day. Because those are the guys that our center fielder that's going to start on February 12th, he's 5'8". I think he weighed in this morning at 148. Okay. He's not playing because he's the best player on the field. He's playing because he competes. And he gives us a chance. We got an Iowa Western guy behind him, and hopefully he catches him or they compete it out. But, he's won the job because of how he went about his business. So, and I'm not afraid. The hardest worker, the best guy that gives us an opportunity is going to be the guys that play. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to grind it out for 21 and 22, and it'll be interesting to see how the JUCOs end up finishing this thing. if the NCAA takes that year or doesn't take the year. I have a hard time believing we're going to have 7- and 8-year college students in this thing in the long run, but who knows? I mean, this is unprecedented, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I have to back you up on that and agree with you 100%. I find it hard to believe that they are too. So that leads me into the next one. You're talking about your center fielder. Who are some of your standout players, and how do you think Pitt State's going to do this year?
Well, I'm excited about the team, but you never know till we get after and the bullets start flying. But we feel, number one, we got some returners back that are going to be very good. Mason Hartman is one of your guys. Tanner of the Bad News Bears, what I call him, because he's the guy that nobody else likes to play against, because he's 5'7", 140 pounds probably, but he competes his rear end off. He was 17 for 17 stolen bases in our 22 games last year. So we're excited about him. A guy named Ryan Koval that's back, that's going to be a really nice player for us. Transfer from Wichita State, was here last year, and this is third year in college, and he's considered a freshman, so you just never know. Dawson Pomeroy is a guy that's back for his COVID junior year. That's going to be a really good two-way guy for us. So he was going to play a little bit of third and pitch, and now we've kind of moved him to left field, and he's doing pretty good out there in pitch. And a lot of that's because we got a kid named Adam Tice that's doing a really good job, and he's one of your guys as well. And you walk in and you see Adam. He said he might have said 10 words in the last month, but he doesn't say much. He just goes out and competes and does what he's supposed to do, and he's kind of won that job at third base. We got some transfers that are going to be really good players. Garrett McGowan is a young man that transferred from Illinois, 6'4", left-handed hitter. He's got some juice. Cruz Aranda is we knew he was a good player, but he's been over and above, not because he is physically gifted, which he can really run and do those things, but he is a grinder. I think he would fight me if he got a chance, and he's not a really big kid, but just the way he goes about his business. Caleb Carr had one of the best falls I've ever seen, but again, you got to go out and prove that in the spring. Those guys offensively are going to be pretty good. And then pitching-wise, we got a lot of strike throwers. They're going to be 86 to 91, and feel like we have a good staff. We have an older staff, so it'll be interesting to see how we go out and compete as far as that goes. But, until you get punched in the mouth, until you give up 4 in the first and see how we react and so on and so forth, we're really not going to know. But that's why we're excited about getting a couple scrimmages under our belt before we play February 12th, because usually we'd get those games in the fall, but we didn't get those this year.
Well, I'm glad to hear a lot of those guys you mentioned on your offensive side I know pretty well, and some played for us, and I'm glad to hear that they're doing well. So growing up, who was your favorite player?
Oh man, probably George Brett way back when, but as I got he's about my age anymore, but Derek Jeter by far is my favorite player ever. I always say to people, if they'd have put him on the Royals early, the Royals would have had a chance to be in the playoffs before 14 and 15. So Derek Jeter is my idol. I mean, that guy's done everything, and you kind of see that he's kind of changing the Marlins. Mm-hmm. So of that last year, and he going about his business the right way, and so I definitely respect Derek Jeter.
So favorite team?
Royals. Back then it was, I loved Derek, but I've always been a Royals guy. I mean, grew up right next to it. Got to go. I even got a scar up here because I think when I was 6, my dad took me to a game and I was running to get George Brett's autograph and I forgot a stair, so I went tumbling down and got some stitches at Royal Stadium, and Lord knows George Brett sent a ball up and gave it to me. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was always a good guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Frank White, Quisenberry, all those guys back then. Yep. So before we wrap up the show, is there something you might have forgot? Is there any additional advice that you can give to players?
Well, number one is people don't realize this, but in baseball, a lot of guys get more money academically than they do baseball-wise. So do the right thing in the classroom. We tell all our players, our recruits, what's going to feed your family down the line is going to be that piece of paper that you get. We love to say it's going to be you're going to play in the big leagues and make millions of dollars. We all have that hopes and dreams, but pretty pretty slim chances that we're going to do those things. So let's make sure we do the right thing in the classroom. That's the first thing I'm going to ask a coach. How's he in the classroom? And if he tells me he's a 1.9 student and he's not very good, I'm probably not going to pay much more attention to that guy. We need guys that are going to work in the classroom. And again, it doesn't say I was really smart, but I found my way to get that piece of paper so I can wear shorts every day and go to the job that I love. So do the right thing in the classroom first and foremost. Don't let anybody outwork you, and have fun at what you do.
Well, Bob, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your day and spending some time with us, and getting some good information, some good knowledge, and people getting to know who you are. And then hopefully some of the players that are going to watch this show are players you recruit in the future, so they know who you are walking in the door. So
yeah, thank you for what you do, man.
I appreciate it.
Your kids, you guys are, I know you combined, and it's easy for us. You send me videos, you tell me about kids all the time, and we don't get enough of that. And then at the same time, we trust. If you tell us you need to go get this guy, we're going to work on that guy. So those are things that don't get said enough, but thank you for what you and your organization are doing.
Well, I appreciate that. I know we've in this area, we're trying to get us back to where we were back. I mean, it's 2013, 2014, where we had all the talent, and we're trying to get that back by doing this, by merging, so the talent's not diluted. It's put together, put the best players together, so we can compete.
Absolutely. So that's exactly what we want, and be able to see a bunch of guys at one time in the same place. And remember, again, I was at Emporia State. That was only a little over an hour from you. I'm 2.5 hours. But come see our facilities. It'd be a good place for you.
Yes, sir. I agree. Well, that concludes this week in Baseball Player Profiles with Coach Bob Fornelli at Pitt State. If you like the show, please hit that subscribe button. And again, Bob, thank you for today.
Thank you, Tonto.